It's Ronaldo Mason with Real Men, Real Leaders podcast. Today is August the 27th. It's beautiful out. We've had some fall weather. Man, are we looking forward to that. Football and all that happens in fall, really looking forward to that. Today's a delight. We have a lady here who's been instrumental in the economic growth of our community. Like we always say, leadership is nothing about a title, but about taking action. And she certainly has since she's stepped into this role as our president and CEO of Economic Development, Finney County Economic Development here in Garden City. Welcome, Lona.
Thank you.
We're glad. Be here. I'm glad to have you. We're excited. We want to feature leaders, both men and women, and we'll feature some of our students as well, and use these clips as a teaching moment. Hopefully, when we have class with our young kids, so really, we want you to start out. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you came from the small town of Leota, and just share with the public how you got started.
Sure. So it's always funny to me when I talk to the young kids here in Garden City, and they always want to move off to the city because this is too small of a town. And I think,
that's true.
Wow, you don't know small town if you think this is small, right? So I graduated with 43 kids in my high school class, right, in Leota. Unfortunately, the graduating classes are getting smaller in a lot of those rural communities, but I was fortunate. Leota was still a thriving community when I went through. Started out there, went to college in Oklahoma, actually, had a scholarship to go to college down there, and then came back. So this has always been my home. Western Kansas is my home.
Yeah,
and so I wanted to be back and be with my family and be near my sisters and my folks. So came back here. Started a family.
Yeah. When did you move to Garden, though?
I moved to Garden. I have to base this on how old my son is because he was 4 when we moved here.
Hunter
Carson. Yeah. So we moved here when he was 4. So 1997.
Okay.
Is when I moved to Garden City. Yeah.
Cool. You've been here ever since.
Been here ever since.
Now, you used to be in the banking industry, right?
I was. I'm a reformed banker. I got all better, Ray. I did. I did banking. I did a lot of commercial banking and agricultural banking. So really great opportunity. I joke about it, but really great experience to lead into what I do today.
Yeah,
so
that started about 2010, right?
Yeah, I started with the Economic Development Corporation in 2010.
Yeah, and that's 15
crazy.
years now.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It was 15 years in June. Hard to believe.
Yeah, but a lot of things have happened.
A lot of things have happened, thankfully, or I wouldn't be in the job anymore.
Well, a few years back, I mean, when one of them was the ConAgra fire and how you were helpful in trying to get, things going again shortly thereafter, because we took a hit for about a year, didn't we?
With both, we unfortunately, we've experienced 2 fires, right? We had the fire at the original beef plant.
That's right.
Over on Farmland Road.
Right, that's right.
Back in 2000. And then, of course, the Tyson plant fire that we just experienced a few years ago. So we've lived through a couple of those. Thankfully, we had very different outcome with the Tyson experience.
Yeah,
but
totally forgot about that fire.
Right?
I know.
Thankfully.
Everybody hones in on the one out there at Farmland.
Yeah.
That was pretty devastating because, I mean...
It was.
It was shut down completely.
It was.
I can't recall the number of families that were impacted, but it was huge enough to impact us economically.
Yeah, we lost more than 3,000 people in our community.
There you go.
Pretty much overnight.
Yeah.
For sure.
So you got to scramble. You got to figure out, we need to help these people. I remember even I got some calls at that time and people just looking for work, they knew they were going to have to, things were changing at that time. But I think after a year later, we started kind of getting our feet underneath us again. And then we had the DFA come in, right? You were instrumental in getting DFA going here in our community.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so that was one of our big goals when I started. When I started in this role, I had some pretty lofty goals. Number one was redevelopment of the former ConAgra site. That's a gateway to our community. Yep. And it was just a constant reminder every time we came by that facility, and they didn't keep it mowed. They didn't keep it looking nice. The fence was always falling down. And
you got to stay on top of that if you're trying to recruit.
You do. Yeah. And I think people just, locals got used to driving by it and seeing it that way. And so it just kind of became a part of who you were. And I just couldn't accept that. It was really important to me that we get that redeveloped and that, we clean up that gateway to the community, if you will. So that was one of my primary goals. Was to redevelop that area, and we got really fortunate. I was, able to reach out to the company who owned it then, which had never operated it as a plant, and make some agreements with them to get that purchased. We got the water rights that were with it, which was also extremely important to the city of Garden City to get those additional water
I remember
rights
that.
tied to it. So it was a big deal. And then, the fact that we were able to kind of immediately get it shifted over. We were able to secure $4.5 million from the state of Kansas in a competitive grant for development of transload facilities, which was part of how we got that all developed. So really exciting. We worked really hard on that. It was really important.
It takes several partners. I mean, you're kind of the glue that kind of brings everybody together.
Right.
Really. Yeah, because I'm sure there was bumps in the road.
Yeah, we really are kind of that liaison between the government entities, if you will, and the private sector. It's kind of our job to balance the needs of both of those while we're building the community for the folks who call our region home.
Yeah, good job on that, by the way. I remember that clearly now.
Thanks. Yeah.
And then something near and dear to your heart has been the housing issue and the child care.
Yeah.
It's been a big challenge it's a challenge across state.
It is. It's a problem across the country, right? You hear it all the time. We were one of the first communities to really tack on to child care. Housing's been a big deal. We really, as a community, just didn't build enough housing. Now for about 45 years, we haven't built enough housing. So it's easy in a community, I think our size, we're just right at that cusp where everything still feels a little bit like the small town that we grew up around.
Yep.
But we're really at that next level already where there's actually huge opportunity for growth. And as a community, we have had really consistent growth. We've grown at 1% to 2%, just steady all the way through for 50 years really at this point. So we just didn't build enough housing to keep up with that growth. And unfortunately, we're paying a price for that now, right? So
and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but sometimes contractors are a little cautious when you have incidences like a fire.
Right.
And then people are having to leave. So, it's sometimes it's a timing issue.
Yeah, and for us, a lot of it is just really having those rental units available.
Yes.
When we have folks who are moving in from the community, from other communities, they don't necessarily know where they would want to buy a house. There may even be houses on the market, but they don't know. They're new to the community.
That's true.
They don't know where their family is going to fit in best, or what amenities are going to matter to them, or what schools they want to be by. They don't know those things.
That's right.
And so if you can have rentals available so that they're not making that huge commitment of, I'm choosing this house and I'm choosing this place to live. We just haven't had the rentals available. We just haven't. They, everything in the rental stock gets just eaten up immediately.
Yeah, it does.
So it's really tough. And prices and we get that. We get that. A lot of people question, oh my gosh, why is housing so much more expensive than it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago? Well, that's happening everywhere.
Yeah, it's just not here.
Just, again, Garden City, as a community, we've always still kind of felt like we were a small town. So we don't necessarily act like the micropolitan that we are, but we are truly a micropolitan. And in many ways, we actually function as a metro community. So we have some really cool statistics.
I know you do.
Really fun data in our office, but Garden City really is the hub of its own economic region. So we have all these really cool mapping tools that show us, Kansas City has their metro area, Wichita has a metro area. We're not a part of either of those. we really are our own metro area out here, representing, not just Western Kansas, but we also have this huge draw from the Panhandle of Oklahoma, the Panhandle of Texas, and of course a lot of Eastern Colorado really considers themselves a part of our economic region. So it's a very different city than we think of it as.
Yeah. And speaking of that, our radius is how far? I mean, what's that number?
Yeah. So we have about a little over 300,000 in our immediate trade area. So those folks who consider Garden City their primary shopping location, if you will, about 300,000 people. That's amazing. Area, it is amazing. That extended area is around 500,000. So it's crazy. Yeah.
And I think that's why we're able to be successful. But this community, as you well know, and I've been a part of that back in the day, is we work well with each other. We may not always agree, but the governing bodies do work well with each other.
They do, and we're very forward thinking, right? Yeah. So the only reason that we boast that trade area is because we went after Shulman Crossing aggressively. We chose to be a retail hub. If we didn't have that national retail presence here, we wouldn't have that trade area. That's what tipped the scales in our favor, right? Is that we knew that we were losing shoppers to Wichita, to Amarillo, to Pueblo, to Colorado Springs. We knew where people were going, to school shop or whatever. Yeah. And so it just made sense to bring that national retail, that regional and national retail here. When we did the study for Shulman Crossing, I think a lot of people thought we were crazy when we said,
I know, I've heard
500,000 square feet of national retail we could attract here, and they thought we were nuts.
Yeah, they laughed at us.
We filled it overnight, right? And we're already back up to we have room again for another 500,000 square feet of national retail and 100,000 square feet of restaurant.
Yeah, and these people, they do their homework. Mm-hmm. They want to be here.
Oh,
and we open the opportunity for them to be here. And you
they want to be
them.
here, and we work really hard to convince them. It is tough. It is harder for us to attract, especially the restaurants. Yeah. The retailers, we've had so much success with the retailers that the story tells itself now. But with the restaurants, it's a little tougher, really because of their distribution networks. We just are so unfortunate that we sit kind of at the end of any of their routes, right? So if they stock out of Kansas City, we would be the last stop, and then they'd just be turning around to go back to Kansas City. Same with Oklahoma City. Same with Denver. So that's a little tougher, right? Because it's food, so it's perishable. They don't really want to tack on another 2 or 3 hour drive to where they're currently terminating and going back. So they're a little tougher for us to sell, but we're making great progress there. In 2023, we went over $1 billion in sales as a community, which is crazy. But
I bet you a lot of people don't know that.
No, we try to tell the story.
I know you do.
But it's one of the benchmarks that retailers really look at. When you can say you're at $1 billion in sales, that is easier for them to equate than, when they look at our population and they say, your county's only like 47,000, your city's only like 35,000. You can't possibly have this many people shopping here. No, we can. Yeah. Look, our numbers prove that now. And now we have really cool tools where we can actually measure cell phones pinging and where they're coming from and where they're going. And so, I don't know if you've heard this one. This statistic is really fun too. But Shannon Dick, who's in our director of analytics for our office. So Shulman Crossing had 3.1 million visitors in 2023. Okay. That was the equivalent to everybody who attended a home K-State football game that year, plus everybody who attended a home KU men's basketball game that year, plus everybody who attended a Royals home game, and everybody who attended a Kansas City Chiefs home game.
Really?
So we had more people at Shulman Crossing than all of those events combined. So, we like
That's
to tell.
Fascinating.
It is fascinating. We like to tell retailers, we say, what if you found out you could put a store right by the Chiefs Stadium? Oh yeah, we would do that. Well, we're telling you, we're delivering all of these people to Shulman Crossing. How would you like to put a store there?
That's interesting facts.
Yeah, very cool.
Thanks for sharing that. I didn't know all that, but I know we're doing very well, but when you speak the numbers out, that's good. Now, I know something else. Not only is giving the incentives or helping people be here to do business. Equally important is the schools, right? The schools and medical facilities are equally important. But I know one near and dear to your heart is the child care. We've struggled with that and the cost of child care.
Yeah, child care is a tough one. And I, we're working on it. I was really fortunate because of the work that we've done locally to create solutions. Governor Kelly actually put me on as one of the few non-actual government or elected officials on the child care task force that she did a couple of years ago, which was very cool. It was a very good experience to be a part of.
Yeah.
And that's where the Children's Cabinet ultimately came from.
And did the Bill 2371, did that get passed? I don't recall. Or worked on
so
it.
there's been quite a bit of activity around childcare in the legislature the last couple of years. Some really positive, and then some that we really aren't sure how it's going to affect the industry yet. They did change some regulations. They're trying to address some of the challenges. It got to where it was just almost impossible to meet the ratio requirements for how many adults you have, providing care for the children. It just got really, really challenging to keep up with. So they made some changes to that this last session. We're anxious to see how that's going to work. For us, the solution we felt was, forming this nonprofit that is really supported, to your point, because we all get along. It's got some, county representation, City of Garden City representation. Our office has somebody on that board, and then we have some private partners who have folks on that board. So trying to build, a model that works for us and provides high quality childcare. It's just as important for us that we have good childcare, good access, always open, available for the families. But also we need to make sure we're preparing them for K-12. And that's a tough one. We have to deliver really good, safe, reliable care while also preparing those young people to enter the school and not start out behind, right? Yeah. And when we don't have those early childhood options, that's what happens. We end up with kids going to kindergarten who just simply are not ready, and we've both been around education enough to know that if they're not ready when they hit kindergarten, it just keeps snowballing. They just tend to keep falling further and further behind. We owe it to our children to do better than that. So early childhood matters to me.
Glad you said that. You're absolutely correct. And I mean, working with these young boys, soon now girls, at the 5th and 6th grade level, I could see some of their shortcomings. Right. And I'm not here to blame the educational people, or not at all. Right. We're trying to help supplement them and help these kids as much as possible, because we do. When we're a community of as diverse as we are, it does get challenging, because we get kids from all over the world.
Of course it does. And they don't, English isn't always their first language. We have some of the most unique challenges, but my goodness, the rewards that we get by being diverse and by being a community that welcomes the world, right? There's a reason our tagline is "The world grows here." Yes. We mean that. It's a figurative and a literal representation of our community, but I think the tough part of that is that there are some extra challenges that come with that. So be it. There's extra rewards that come with it too.
Absolutely.
But we all have to be working together. We all have to be finding those places that we can serve and help to elevate folks. This is one you may not be aware of either. Finney County ranks in the top quartile of counties nationwide for upward mobility. So one generation to the next of newcomers who come to Finney County, we're in the top quartile. That is cool.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So I love that. I think it's amazing that a family can move here and feel pretty confident that their children are actually going to have a better opportunity than they did when they started. I love that. But I want to take it even a step further. I want for that first generation of newcomer to have that same level of opportunity. So that's really important to us. We work a lot with the community organizations. We work closely with Catholic charities and with those agencies that kind of touch our newcomers, making sure that we're connecting those folks with educational opportunities, work opportunities, and doing everything we can to help them understand that don't let your past define you. Don't let where you came from define you. You have so many opportunities here. Let us help you explore the world that exists here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So.
That is awesome because we tell the boys that don't let your situation or your past and dictate where you're
That's right.
going.
That's
so
right.
that's good to hear. Hey, tell me a little bit. What's this Red Bull?
Yeah, I apparently
deliver Red Bull.
I require a lot of Red Bull. Apparently, I'm trying to do better because it's not healthy. I know it's not healthy.
Is that what that is? You like Red Bull?
I do. I like caffeine. As it turns out,
I
do
like too.
Caffeine. So yeah, and I'm not a soda drinker, so it's coffee, and then I go kind of straight from coffee to Red Bull. I'm trying to drink more water, but. Yeah,
Well, I had to ask you that question.
I probably still drink too many energy drinks. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get better.
No, you're okay, but I had to ask that question.
I get it.
Hey, tell me a little bit about this before we're going to wrap up here a little bit, but about the shoe store model.
Yeah, the shoe store model. That's kind of funny. Yeah, so it's an economic development.
Okay.
It's a philosophy, right? So. It's easier to envision if you're thinking of downtown. So picture downtown Garden City.
Okay.
And if let's say you have an area, let's just say you're at the corner of Laurel and Main Street. Okay. So you're with me.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm with you.
And there's 4 corners there.
Correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a shoe store that wants to come downtown and they want to locate on the northwest corner.
Okay.
And that's great. That's going to be good for them. They'll draw a certain number of clientele who know that there's a shoe store down there on that one corner, and they're going to come down and shop with you. But the cool part is if you actually added another shoe store right across the street from it, you're going to get more people in both of the individual stores because now you have people saying, oh, if you need shoes, there's a couple of shoe stores downtown.
Yeah.
Well, if you filled all 4 corners with shoe stores, you actually increase the number of consumers who are coming to that area to buy shoes. So we'd like to use it kind of to help businesses understand. Sometimes businesses get concerned when we're bringing in a retailer that they think may compete with their existing business, right? And they say, well, I already sell that widget. We don't need anybody else to sell that widget here in town because I sell that widget.
Yeah.
So the shoe store mentality really is just telling them that no, the pie is not finite, right? It's not like there's only 1,000 shoppers who will ever need to buy a widget. The truth is, if we get more people offering more and different types of widgets, the number of people who look to Garden City to buy those widgets continues to grow.
Gotcha.
So that's how we go from having a trade area of maybe 100,000 or 200,000. That's how you step up to having a trade area of 300, 400, 500,000. Because the more you have on offer here, even if it's multiple widgets or multiple shoe stores, people rely on this as their market that they want to go shop in because they know they're going to have more to choose from. So that's the shoe store model.
Yeah,
now you know.
Now you know. Perfect, because I wasn't quite sure.
I get it. Economic development words.
Listen, sometimes in your business, it's very hard to be transparent because you work with entities that may not, hey, they may not want something public. That's sometimes you have to balance that. It's probably a little bit tough for you,
Yeah, it is. It's obviously understandable. You're working with a project, and a lot of the companies I work with are multinational companies. Right. Like they're not. They're not small potatoes, if you will.
I gotcha.
So it's very concerning for them. They obviously have they have trade secrets, they have location secrets, they have a lot of things happening in their own business, and they don't want that word on the street until they're ready for the word to be on the street that they're making a decision or building a facility or whatever the case may be. So it is challenging. However, what we have found are, first of all, our partners, we're a standalone corporation, but our funding partners are Finney County, City of Garden City, Garden City Community College, and City of Holcomb. And our board is entirely made up of representatives who are appointed by those governing bodies. So my board knows everything we're working on, always, right? We started today with a 7:30 board meeting this morning, and so they know who we're working with, they know what's going on, and they understand that it's confidential, but then they are reporting back to their respective entities. I'm talking always to those entities, right? Matt Allen, soon to be Derek Ramos at the county, Ryan Ruda. We're always together. We're always talking through these projects, so they know what's happening. We're all bound to confidentiality. We can't, I can't go out on the street and answer somebody's question. It's kind of sad because there are folks who are like, hey, what's going to go in over? Oh, I know, you probably get it all the time. We do.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I understand people being curious.
Yeah.
But people are also great when I say, we just can't talk about it yet, but I promise you're going to like it. Yeah. People are really good about that. And as long as you actually deliver, people take that news pretty well. Like I think I know there are communities where they never actually deliver on anything, and people get tired of hearing, "Oh, I can't tell you, it's a secret." Yeah. If you don't actually deliver, but as long as we're still delivering, they know we're actually working.
Fairly good job. The community's done a fairly good job. So I'm glad you explained that because. Yeah, people are always wondering, and then I heard this and this is coming in.
Right.
I said, I don't know, man.
That'd be great. That's what we always say. Oh, that'd be great.
Well, look, under your leadership and others, obviously, in the other entities you mentioned, Garden has really grown.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate.
And you're right. We have some major players here. And also the airport. We didn't really speak about how important that airport is to us.
That?
Right?
Yeah, on track to break the record yet again.
I saw the numbers just the other day.
It's nuts.
Which is awesome. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. What's a story you hope to continue building for, maybe not your children, but your grandchildren, or your children, Hunter, or the next generation?
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to?
Yeah, I want them to be, I want everybody's kids to be really proud of who we are here, to be proud of what we've overcome. This is not, just geographically, this is a tough place, right? The pioneers who settled here, they were not ordinary people, right? I mean, this is a tough place to build a life.
It's a very good point.
It's a really tough place to build a life. And so I think it's incredible. The history that we have here is incredible. The fact that we have been a diverse community for as long as we've been a diverse community is incredible. There's so much to celebrate about who we are, and I want all of the folks who are fortunate enough to come from this region to recognize the value of this region and to recognize the value of that heritage. I also want to create the opportunities here that they never feel called to build their life elsewhere, that they know that this can always be home base, even if they want to go explore the world, even if they're wanting to live in Paris for a year. I get it. I get it. Me too, right? But I want them to know that they've always got a home. They've always got a place to come back to. And we're going to keep creating opportunities here, job opportunities, quality of life amenities. We want them to know that this is a place you can choose to live. You don't have to live, and you can still build a life here. You can still build a career here. The future is going to change a lot, right? As we see artificial intelligence continue to evolve.
Good point.
There's going to be a lot of opportunity, and honestly, location isn't going to matter as much. People can really, we're going to find that people can live about anywhere they want to live, and make a living. So we just want to be the place that people feel like is home. That's what we want. It's really important to us that people can be proud of what we have here, what we've built here, and what our future holds.
Now, lastly, as a woman, and you have faced some challenges, obviously. What message would you send to young ladies out there that would be encouraging to them? That because people in your position and other leadership positions, it just doesn't happen, and you do run into roadblocks sometimes. You learn to get around them, go above them, underneath, whatever you need to do, go through them. What would you say to young women out there that you might be inspiring?
I think two things. One, one of those. So this is on a message board right by my desk. It says, "Always be kind, always be humble, always be the hardest worker in the room." My dad really instilled that in me. You don't have to be mean to people. and you certainly don't have to brag about it. But you got to be the hardest worker in the room.
Yeah, good,
so
good
that
advice.
one's really important, and it absolutely gets you past some of those roadblocks, like you said, right? When people know you're willing to work hard, it's amazing how quickly they'll get behind you when you know that you're willing to work hard.
I agree.
The other thing I would say is I've never asked who's going to let me do something. I rephrase that all the time for people and say, who's going to stop me?
Oh, wow.
Right?
Wow. I like that.
So,
that's a good one.
I like that one. I think that one's really powerful for especially for folks who maybe sometimes would feel like they've been put in a box. Don't worry about who's going to let you do something. Question who could possibly stop you.
That's a little profound. I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being here, Lona.
Thanks for having me. This is great. Thank you for the work you're doing. Real Men, Real Leaders. Just God bless you. Well, what a great organization. I am so proud of all that organization has done.
Well, we thank you for that. And I know you're very supportive of economic development. Finney County Economic Development has been supportive of us. And like I say, we're just getting ready. We've got the girls started now. We're going to start out small, but we're going to grow it.
We're excited about it. Any way we can help out, you let us know.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Lona.
Thank you.
And good luck to you. Have a good Labor Day weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Hey, we're going to end this podcast, great podcast. So when Edgar, our man behind the scenes, edits it, and he'll have it out there here hopefully in about a week, I hope you really watch it, because we're trying to put our folks out here in Southwest Kansas, Garden City, Finney County, our leadership, and not just the men and women, but we're going to have our young kids too, some of our Real Men, Real Leaders, and soon, hopefully, the girls as well. So continue to stay tuned. Have a wonderful Labor Day. See ya.